Yeah, that video clip of or actually that was shit. That was the whole damn episode of Naked and Afraid with the black guy and the white woman, and she was talking all that strong, independent shit and whatnot, and he kicked her out the hut, and then she got her bitch act right on real quick, and J Dub's comment, your comment is what Cap and I had said a long time ago. When it comes to black women's belligerence and all that other shit, their behavior is predicated on, what we do as men. And I already know that a lot of damage has been done to, the community as a whole, but specifically, to black men in terms of, the chain of patriarchy being broken, for black men. I mean, starting with slavery and then, going on through, the 20th century, just the whole 20th century. It just seemed like it was just a clusterfuck. The only window of successes seemed to be right around or up until the 1920s, from about 1880 to 1920 seems to be where, given black people's position and their starting point, I mean, they made tremendous, leaps and bounds, of what was established and whatnot. But then, like, after that, things just seem to go downhill, and the dependency on whites just seemed to become greater and greater and greater, right? After the, these black enclaves that were established were burnt down to the ground, right? But what I myself feel, and even when I see in the frustration of a lot of other brothers, that they don't really have a hatred of black women. It's just that, I mean, you can't win, right? The problem is black men don't provide X, Y, and Z, which women will stand up and pound their chest about and say, yes, you all don't do this. And then in the next breath, when men try to position themselves to provide all those things on their terms, then the women are angry because it's not on the women's terms, and then the women jump up and scream, rape, and pillage. So you can't really win. And, there's a lot of brothers that get frustrated before they even start. And that's really not going to help anything. I mean, all that does is create a stalemate. You're not going to get black women's behavior to go away, or, I mean, they are the best example of a product of their environment. I know people say that about black men in the hood and in poverty and everything, and it's very much true, but women really don't have the capability, to challenge that. They really, really don't. What you see women do is they will respond to the powers that be, the weapons of mass destruction and everything else, by ignoring the problem, buckets of feel-goodery, positive reinforcement, wishful thinking, and hope. And that's what women will do. And you see this time and time again. Like, I don't care what YouTube video you want to go to. Watch all these, female seminars of, so-called strong, independent black women, and when they go up there and they're having their little feminist powwows and shit like that. I mean, there's, like, no practical application when it comes to solutions and shit. Like, they will over-exaggerate and over-inflate the numbers who are out here, of women who are actually out here really, like, doing the damn thing, and then, act like, the very building that they're having the venue in just simply erected itself. I'm sitting there, I'm watching these videos, and the women are just calmly in a quiet space and, on a stage, and I'm like, gee, that's a really nice podium. I wonder who made that. Gee, that's some really nice lighting we got going on there. I wonder who did the electrical work. Wow, that's a really nice, stage, and it's a really nice building, and you all are just listen to the sound, and, everything's just so crystal clear, and, you two look like you're sitting up there and you're so very comfortable in your air-conditioned building, and now you're sitting up there talking about how patriarchy is the problem when the very platform that you're speaking on was created and provided by what? Patriarchy. I mean, it's it's mind blowing when they do that shit. You know, mind blowing. I mean, I respect the women if they went off in the woods somewhere and had, you know, their feminist meeting somewhere. I'd respect that more because I'd be like, hey, we have no part of this. You know, we can't touch it. You know, but even on the aspects where they can say, well, you all didn't build this, the white men built it. I'm like, bitch, it's still fucking patriarchy. You know, I'm like, and you act like it wouldn't benefit you to have your men in the same position. And again, some women, you know, they're mindful of that, and you know, they want black men to do the same things as other races of men do, but they just want it to happen on their terms. And like, it's not going to happen. You know, and I'm, you know, I listen. I'm, you know, watching all these feminist videos and everything, and the women keep saying, "Oh, well, feminism doesn't mean this; it means equality." I'm like, how's that shit going to work? Like, just stop with the fucking rhetoric. I'm saying, give me the fine details of how this shit is supposed to fucking work. You know, there's just entirely too much that women don't do and women don't want to do. And then when you factor in children and the fucking breastfeeding and the spending the time with the small children and all the attention children need, and then productivity and progress still needs to be made out there in society. And then on top of that, you got the whole, you know, this patriarchy versus that patriarchy still going on in the background. You know, it's like, ain't nobody got time for all this fucking, you know, all this, you know, let's redefine the roles shit. I'm like, you go ahead and try to redefine it. You'll be conquered by the time you wake up in the morning. I mean, this shit is not shit to be fucking played with, you know? Nobody gets to have their cake and eat it too. It's like, look, this is what's most effective. This is what works. This is what we're up against. And this is what we gotta fucking do. You know, everybody will sit there and, you know, jump up and talk about, you know, black patriarchy has failed and black men suck and all this other shit. They'll talk that shit all the time, but always ignore the fact that when you look at the relationship between African Americans and white supremacy has gone out of its way to make sure that the black man is nothing like the white man. He has made sure of that fact. Okay? Creating the bitch assness, and now it's not even, bitch assness anymore or bastardized versions of male masculinity. Now it's just straight up, oh yeah, be on that equality shit. Oh yeah, you all be on that shit. That's how you work. Your woman is strong and independent. We remove the beauty from the black woman. We make her the strong and independent. Then we make the black man the beautiful black man. And so now niggas is running around thinking they're the prize, thinking they're more beautiful than the women that they're with. The women are wanted around like Phaedra, adding niggas to their program. And I'm like, if I was white supremacy, I wouldn't be worried about shit. If I was white supremacy trying to maintain white supremacy, the black community, black men would be non-combatants. And for the rogue males that exist, the ones that we can't control that are coming out of the fucking matriarchy and everything, it doesn't matter. What do they have? Weapons that they don't manufacture? What are they going to challenge us with? You know what I mean? They don't have businesses. They're not running. They don't have an economy, right? Shit, we flood the black community with drugs, that we created, and then we lock them up for selling the drugs that we created. And then on the sidelines, we go off and then legalize it in a handful of other states where we become millionaires off of the very same shit that we've been locking up niggas for the last fucking 50 years. This is how the fucking game is played. And I'm saying, at this point right now, nothing's going to happen in any absolute one sweeping stroke type of situation. Nothing's going to happen like that. Essentially what you're going to see is a black community which is going to be, split across socioeconomic lines. Everybody who will be poor will be growing up in the matriarchy, and that's what the fuck it's going to be. And the black people that got a little bit of paper, if they can, hang on to working for white people for a little bit and stacking their bread and then going off and establishing their own shit, they'll have, some semblance of a patriarchy. But they're going to have to be the ones that initiate or be the catalyst for, creating a thriving black community. And unfortunately, people know how fucked we are. Unfortunately, Like I had to tell somebody in the comment section, they were like, oh, well, black people need to go off and start their own businesses and this, that, and the third. I'm like, nigga, that shit starts with gainful employment. And unfortunately, black people are in no position to hire themselves, for gainful employment. We got to go out there and get these, $65,000, $85,000, $100,000 jobs from white folks because they control all the opportunities, and then go off on the sidelines and establish our own shit. It starts with a kid graduating at 18 years old and either walking into an economic opportunity or going to school, getting an education, and then walking into an economic opportunity after that. But unfortunately, black people don't control any of the opportunities. So if white people wanted to shut us out tomorrow, we'd be done. That's how fucked up we are as of right now in this moment. We'd be done. What was I going to say? There was something I was going to make about that point. It's like YouTube. Here we are on YouTube. Somebody wrote a comment talking about, the black women's hair, natural hair, freaking movement, and black women making videos about natural hair, and they've created this movement all by themselves independently through whose platform? I'm sorry. I seem to miss all the black women that are part owners of YouTube. I seem to miss that. I'm sorry. Or any black person that owns YouTube or part of YouTube or part of Google or any of this shit. If they wanted to pull the plug on all the black channels tomorrow, I'm saying they could. And then where would all the messages be? Gone. Disappeared. You got to have your own fucking platform. You got to establish your own fucking shit. But, from what I see from black people, even when they get the money and the resources to even do something, they don't want to do it. They're not even thinking about that. Namely, black men, because they're the ones that are supposed to be establishing this shit. It's the primary reason why black elders cannot define the standards and codes of conduct and behavior in the black community, because they wield no fucking power. They don't control anything. They're not feeding anybody. Nobody is dependent on them. The same problem that we have with black women is the same problem that black elders have with black youth. Because when somebody's not dependent on you, for their survival, they can be disrespectful in any old fucking way because there's no consequences. And I like how, one of the brothers put it in the comment section. He said, black men are not in a position to enact rewards or punishment. And I'm like, exactly. It's like what I said about the comparison between black people in the ghetto versus white people in the suburbs in relationship to their kids. When them white kids act out, they do the same dumb shit that black kids will do in the fucking hood. But they got a whole bunch of safety nets, these white kids in the suburbs. And then on top of that, their parents can act all type of sanctions and shit. Oh, you want to act out of pocket? Oh, give me your BMW keys. No, not the 3 Series, no. I went to high school with motherfuckers like this. Cell phones taken. You're grounded. And being grounded, they didn't have to put padlocks on the fucking door. You know what they did? No more allowance. No more fucking money. No car to get to work. You're asked the fuck out. Motherfuckers straight up, Mom, I'm going to lose my job. Well, you should have thought about that before you decided that you were going to, drive down the Wildwood in my car. They shut them the fuck down. And then niggas running around trying to curb the behavior of their children with no resources and shit. Talking about, oh, well, they disobeyed me in my divine authority. I brought them into this world. And that's about all they can say. I brought them into this world. And the better question is, well, why did you bring them into this world if you don't have anything set up for them? The way the world operates, these children got to go out there and fucking compete with other people. They got to compete with other groups just to fucking survive. And as I stated before, black people do not care about their own genetic survival. They just do not care about the shit. Other groups are out there, I gotta make sure my kids own all the water on the planet. They own all the air on the fucking planet. You know what I mean? You should see the type of shit like when black people, just talk to somebody, about black people getting like some percentage of government contracts or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like these motherfuckers already control everything, and they're pissed off at that shit. I'm like, God damn, nigga, we talking black people getting 1% of 1%, and you standing there all fucking pissed off like we're just breathing up all the oxygen in the room. I'm like, God damn, to just let you know how much, you know, they want to have all the shit for them fucking selves. And I'm saying that's what you're dealing with. These are the type of people, the type of groups that you're dealing with in the fucking world. They want to have it all. They don't give a fuck whether you starve or not. And you can't be going out there responding to that with buckets of white Jesus and Allah and let's hold a hand and hug each other and everything like that's what the fuck they're on. While you sitting there praying to your fucking Quran and praying to your motherfucking Bible and shit, these motherfuckers are loading up ammunition and shit. Building super tanks and aircraft carriers and everything in order to reinforce their social dominance, you know, and their resource monopoly on the fucking planet for their people and their fucking community. You know, I mean that's what the fuck they're doing. You know, and that's not to say that African Americans aren't slightly riding the coattails of the shit. You know, but I mean, we are way in the fucking back seat. Like, we're in the caboose and shit. It's like, you know, nigga, be glad we freed you from slavery. Now shut the fuck up and stay in the caboose, and we don't want to hear from you anymore. I shouldn't see your face in first class on this train, you know. You know, that type of shit. You know. But, you know, in reference to, you know, the documentary, not the documentary, the Afraid and Naked and everything else like that, you know, the women's behavior is predicated on what the fuck we established. You know, I mean, you saw how much she straightened up, you know, after that nigga left her ass in the cold and shit. He was like, bitch, this is my fucking hut. I built this shit. Go ahead and have your fucking lighter and shit. I don't care about your lighter. I'll be good in my hut. Next thing you know, she's all in front of the camera on some Blair Witch shit like, yes, and I would just like to apologize because, you know, I get crazy when I get emotional and shit like that. Now, would you have seen that if that nigga didn't have a hut? Fuck no, you wouldn't have seen that shit if that nigga had a hut. You know what I mean? I mean, there would have been nothing for her to freaking check or curb her behavior about. Whether she actually meant that shit or not. Personally, I don't think she really meant that shit. Because even at the end of the fucking film, she was still talking about fucking strong and independence and whatnot. You know, and I bet you once she's back out there in California or Florida, wherever the fuck she was from, you know, she gonna be telling all her friends and everything about how she was, you know, she survived and she actually went out there and can't nobody talk about her, even though the fucking whole episode, this bitch is throwing up and heaving and got tremors and nausea and fatigue and everything else. I'm sitting there like, you know, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And granted, you know, we're not living in prehistoric times and that's not what it is anymore. But I'm saying that's where we fucking came from. That's why patriarchy came to be in the fucking first place. Because when you're in a hostile environment, you know, women are going to do what they need to do to survive. Women are going to align themselves with the men who are in positions of power or have skills or whatever in order to survive. Okay? It is a survival tactic amongst women. You know, and you know, if another man came along, here's where hypergamy comes in. Let's say there was another man in that little scenario who had a bigger hut and a bigger house and just better than what the fuck he had. Where do you think she would have gone? She would have gone to the motherfucker with the bigger hut or the bigger, you know, the actual real log cabin, you know, with you know, actual fireplace and a bear skin rug on the carpet and everything. She would have been over there butt ass naked talking about, take me. You know, but see, the situation, that only worked to that brother's benefit because that was her only option. See, this is where hypergamy comes into play. You know, and again, I don't have any issue with hypergamy because it's just a matter of men just going to have to be competitive. That's just what the fuck it is. Even if there were no fucking women, you know what I mean, and there was limited resources on the planet, right? You'd still have people fighting over, just men fighting over the resources, you know, for their survival. And sometimes, you know, granted, you can sit there and argue and say, you know, there's enough resources for everybody and everybody can share. Granted, there probably are enough resources on planet Earth for the 6 billion people that exist on planet Earth. You know what I mean? I have traveled, you know, across the United States And even when you look at a map, just look at a map. There's a whole bunch of area that ain't nobody fucking living in and shit. I mean, it's just straight up wilderness. Straight up wilderness. And then, people running around, oh, there ain't no space for nobody to live. And we gotta limit the world's population and shit. No, there's plenty of fucking space. There's plenty of room, there's plenty of resources and all that other shit. But what do you do when you end up with a dickhead? What do you do when you end up with a selfish motherfucker that wants to have it all, isn't going to share it all? You know what I'm saying? Now you got a bully on the block. You either got to be strong enough to take out the fucking bully or challenge the fucking bully, or you're going to be in a situation where the bully's just going to dominate you. And that's where black people got to be. They got to be in a position to challenge the fucking bully. I mean, we're not even in a position to fucking saber rattle. Russia's like, don't make us use our nukes. We got nukes, motherfucker. And Obama's sitting up there like, talking about, what he has at his disposal, even though that's not his. Yes, he's a biracial, president, but I mean, that's white boy shit. That's white boy infrastructure. That ain't his. You know what I mean? And that's how the shit plays out. Black men need to have their own. There's a whole bunch of the shit that black men have contributed to American society. But you see how much credit we don't get for the shit? You know what I mean? I'm like, we don't need to be contributing to this shit any fucking more. Because it does not benefit us. It simply doesn't. I direct you to, niggas getting their medals of honor for fighting in World War II, after they died. You know what I mean? I mean, just bullshit like that. And then again, because of, our participation is not recognized and it's not visible and, there isn't, much reciprocity going on. You see how our women respond to us now because, we're just weak black men who haven't done anything in all of American history and haven't contributed shit to anything. You know what I'm saying? You see how that shit plays out. I'm like, nah, fuck this, man. I'm writing my name on everything with a Sharpie marker now. That chair, yeah, that's mine. I carved that out of a fucking tree. That's mine and shit. Any fucking little thing, it's like that's mine. That's mine. Yeah. That the tires on my car. Yeah, I poured that from the sap from a rubber tree and shit. I did that myself. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Because we just do not get credit for shit. We do not get credit for participating in the white man's infrastructure and the white man's... We don't get credit for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying when white boys really want to be fucking bold, they'll be very quick to let you know that. Very quick to let you know that. Shit. Go over there on Stormfront and all these... And chimpout.com and everything else. And what has the black person ever created? Y'all haven't contributed shit. Other than peanut butter. Y'all niggas haven't done anything. Oh, and I'm sorry, streetlights. Y'all niggas haven't contributed anything to mankind other than music and artistic culture. I'm like, see, we got to stop fucking around because, I'm tired of them sitting over there talking that fucking bullshit. And then on top of that, we got to go back and deal with what? With our women? All the fucking belligerence from our women because, we got them, either outside, in the rain or living in mud huts and mud shacks and everything else like that. And we're running around arguing and bitching and crying as black men why she's not acting and behaving, as, some other race of woman who's protected and cherished and put on a pedestal. And, like I told you, they're going to be up there bitching. White women bitch. White women cry and all that other shit. But they'll be crying even louder if you took all that shit, that all the stuff that they have away. Take all that shit. You ain't seen a white woman cry and complain until you start removing all that fucking shit. And I'm saying, that's the type of position black men are going to have to put black women in. Not on some tyrannical, like, you must do what I say, bitch, type of shit. But I'm saying, you want to be in the type of position that you saw that dude in the Naked and Alone, clip. Where he was like, hey, you're free to go. You want to leave? Hey, go. No, I built the hut. Hey, you can go. And see, that's one of the things that a lot of women don't like about men in power. You know what I mean? Because everything's cool when you're handling your responsibilities and everything else. You know, but as soon as there's something that they don't like the fact that you have the upper hand. You know, they don't like the fact that you can take them or leave them. But I'm saying somebody who's being charged with the responsibility of being the protector and provider has to always be in that position. Fuck what her attitude is. Fuck how she feels about shit. They have to always be in that position, because if you're not in that position, you're going to be dealing with another problem on your hands, which is, you're weak and you're not providing this and that and da-da-da-da-da. And I'd rather be the motherfucker saying, hey, chick, you can fucking leave anytime you want, than be the one, sitting there, being charged with, responsibilities and shit that is my job, but I'm incapable of doing. That's what black men need to fucking recognize. Seriously speaking. We need to make them, check themselves and curb their business. Oh shit, I might not want to do that. Because the reality is, and it's just like it's like the relationship of a parent or an employer or anybody who is providing for another person is going to be completely intolerant of disrespect. Completely intolerant of disrespect. And women know of this concept. Let a man be sleeping on her couch and living underneath her roof and then, being disrespectful and shit. Women have no issue, black women especially, have no issue throwing a nigga out on the street and throwing his clothes over the balcony and everything else. I've seen that shit. I've gotten the fucking 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls talking about, can you come pick me up and shit. I'm like, motherfucker, I told you not to move in with that crazy bitch. You was right. Told you that shit. And I'm saying, for black men, I'm saying, based on our global position, we really can't get caught like that, because us getting caught like that only further reinforces all the negative shit that's already stated and said and whatnot. It only reinforces that shit. Where a white man getting his shit thrown out of a chick's apartment, we might laugh at that. We might think that shit's comical, right? Because it doesn't that instance of that one bitch ass dude, that shit does not impact the whole infrastructure of white supremacy. You know what I mean? The white men are still on top. They still got Navy. They still got an Air Force, right? They still run the government. They still control all the fucking banks. They control all the businesses and shit. Is one white man getting his shit thrown out on the street or thrown out of a car, is that going to topple the whole system? No. No, that shit ain't going to topple the whole system. But a black man, based on, not only our current positioning, but also our overall perception. The perception is completely reversed. Anytime you come across a brother that's got his shit together, he's a fucking unicorn. White boy can sit there and say, bitch, do you know who the fuck I am? He can hit it with the juggernaut line. You know who the fuck I am? But a black man, and you know who the fuck I am? And yeah, nigga, who the fuck are you? It's just you. You ain't got no team. You ain't got no squad. You ain't got no coalition. You ain't got nothing. And I'm saying, fuck what's going on with black women. I'm saying this shit spills in the areas with fucking white boys. You know what I mean? They're getting bolder by the day, saying foul shit, saying fucked up shit, and because they feel that they can get away with it. Why? You all by yourself. You over here in our networks making money that we provide you. You're lucky to even be here, motherfucker. So don't get too loud. You know what I mean? Don't get too rowdy, because we might have to fucking check you and remind you of the fact that you're all by your fucking self, because you ain't got 6, 7, 8 other brothers, on your squad, on your team. You're just the token black guy here. Versus the white boys who are rolling 15 white boys deep, all riding around in, $60,000, $70,000 automobiles and shit like that. I mean, that's what you're fucking competing with. You know what I mean? And there's a whole layer of white wealth that, is so beyond the scope of what black men think about in terms of actually having wealth. That, it's not even funny. What you know about, Matt Black Aventador money? What you know about money like that? I'm talking about wealth, freaking, $3,000 bottle service and shit like that. I've seen the shit. I mean, shit that'll make your fucking testicles shrivel up and just, just roll up into your fucking body and shit. You mean to tell me you see a motherfucker roll up in a fucking matte black Aventador and shit and hop out with a bad bitch and that shit don't faze you at all, nigga? Like, you ain't even thinking for 30 seconds, like, damn, I wish I was that motherfucker. That shit don't faze you at all. You just gonna sit there and with your chest out and, that shit don't faze me. That shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing. He's probably an asshole. Really? That's your coping mechanism? That makes you fucking, sleep, warm at night, in the fetal position with your fucking thumb in your mouth? You sleep sound on that shit? And again, it's not just about the superficial shit of whether the motherfucker got a $400,000 automobile and whatnot. It's about what else can he do with that? You're only seeing a little small segment of what he's doing. That's like his splurge money. That's his fucking play money. That's just his money. But that ain't what he can actually fucking do. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers like that could buy up a whole fucking black neighborhood and kick everybody out of it. With no resistance. Motherfuckers start bitching, he just throws money in their fucking face. That is the medium of exchange. That is what you need to get shit done. Not all this intangible, magical shit. Oh, I got white Jesus in the Quran, and I can recite Deuteronomy. What is it? Part 20 or whatever the fuck that dude said in the freaking Hotep video and shit. Who gives a fuck? I don't. As Amos Wilson said, and you are in no better position to fucking defend yourself, regardless of how morally superior you think you are. You are in no better position to fucking defend yourself. And that's what it's really all about. But all this, role reversal shit, and all this other crap. Yeah, if the white people want to entertain that bullshit, let them entertain that bullshit. The black community is not in any position to entertain that fucking bullshit. Right? We've been fucking around with the gender roles in the black community for the last fucking 40 years. And how's that worked out for us? How's that worked out? I mean, you would think that even black women would recognize this shit. They're like, man, this shit ain't really working for us. These niggas is becoming more complacent and more bitch ass by the fucking day. And I'm not putting it all on black women, but I'm saying, you standing there talking about, well, even if you build it, nigga, I'm still not going to follow. And you're bringing sand to my beach. And what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. That's not inspirational or motivational. That's like, fuck it. And then again, placed against the backdrop of fucking, all the awesomeness of the intact other communities, you're damn right you're going to have people running around and, trying to jump ship on some self-hate tip. Like people, they come to me like, talking about, oh, that's just so wrong. That was so self-hating and everything and whatnot. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, what else do you expect? What do you mean? What are you trying to say? And I'm like, I'm saying that in order for black people to feel good about themselves, in order for black children to have a positive black identity, then blackness is going to have to be attached, more to something than just empty rhetoric. It's actually going to have to be attached to a structure and foundations and wealth and positive imagery. All these things cost money, and all these things have to be presented. This idea of, how dare a black kid grow up hating himself and picking the white doll over the black doll. I'm like, what else do you expect? What more could you expect given the situation? I don't even know why people are surprised about that shit. Oh my God, the black kids are failing the doll test. Oh my God. Why are you surprised about that shit? You know what I mean? Or black boys growing up, desiring and lusting light-skinned fair women or white women. Why are you surprised about that fucking shit? Only reason it doesn't happen with black girls, because as I said before, black males are promoted for their hyper masculinity. I direct you to any fucking Reebok commercial, Nike commercial, sports commercial, well, with some muscular, dark-skinned nigga with his shirt off, looking all cock diesel and shit. You know, on top of the other areas of entertainment and the rap culture and the you know, the fake money, the pseudo success. Oh, I got a Range Rover with some rims on it and whatnot. You know, yeah, that shit's fucking appealing, and it makes it look like, hey, them niggas is getting money. You know, they're not much further behind the white guys. You know, on an ignorant, superficial, you know, face value type of interpretation. But once you get into beyond that, then it's like, damn, you know, oh shit, you know, Kevin Garnett, he's balling out of control. Yeah, and who owns the team? You know, it's like, you know, when people used to watch Cribs and shit, you know, MTV Cribs. Oh man, did you see so and so's house? I wasn't even focused on that shit. I'm looking at the shit like, you know, Slim Thug, like, check out my blue, you know, donk and all this other shit. Check out my rod and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's a nice neighborhood. And I bet you all his neighbors is white. And all his neighbors either have high-paying professional jobs or they own businesses. And this nigga, the only time you see niggas out there and shit is if there's some ultra token Negro, you know, oh, he's a doctor or some shit like that, and or, you know, some type of entertainer and shit. But you don't really see niggas out there like, yeah, I own, you know, 15 chicken shacks. Black people love chicken, but yet we don't own no chicken shacks. We love seafood and crabs, but yet, you know, we spend all our money at Red Lobsters, right? You know what I mean? Motherfuckers should be going to freaking, you know, Red Jamal's or some shit like that. But nah, you know, we spend our money everywhere else, elsewhere, you know. And again, not to get all into the shit, but this is why I don't have, you know, black elders can kiss my ass on all that, you need to respect your elders bullshit. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers failed. We watched you fucking fail. You know what I mean? Well, we can pull up the history of how you failed. Shit's all over the goddamn internet. Them motherfuckers standing around acting like they're deserving of respect, but didn't establish anything. You know, the only thing that they're coming with now, again, as I said before, are buckets of positivity and behavioral modifications and, oh, you need Jesus and all this other bullshit. Broke as fuck. Ain't got no money, no way to enact, as the brother said in the comment section, rewards or punishment, or rewards or consequences, or rewards or sanctions. I mean, none of these things. They can't do any of those things. Which is why they can't define shit. Which is why, by default, you know, I don't care. I mean, just think of Afrocentricity as a big-ass net with a bunch of big-ass holes in it and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why the black children are going to grow up and they're going to fall through the holes of Afrocentricity, and they're going to land on the value system of the white infrastructure. Because their shit is just far more fucking kick-ass. You know, and I'm saying, you know, granted, you know, in 100 years from now, this shit will probably be more kick-ass. But I'm saying, you got to start somewhere, and you just simply build on the foundation that you start, right? But if nobody has no hope of ever seeing black people establish any of their own shit, then you're never going to have black people valuing themselves, or valuing blackness, or valuing black beauty, or any of those things without having a damn structure. You know, and I already know that this structure has to be built, maintained, operated, and defended by black men. You know, women are not going to go out here and establish this fucking shit. You know, and you know, I don't care what their rhetoric is. You know, to me, it's just rhetoric. It's, we want decision-making capabilities, but, you know, we're not really getting our hands dirty, or we're not really out there in the trenches. Or what a woman will slickly try to do is you know, the man's doing 75% and then she comes with her, you know, 25%, you know, and acts like, you know, I'm doing something. You saw this right in the fucking video with the white chick. You know what I mean? That motherfucker's building a damn hut. She's all sick. You know what I mean? And he's like, look, I need you to do something. You know, if you're going to do something, if this is supposed to be 50-50 or whatever, I need you to do something. And she's like, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, make a fire. I don't know. You know, if you brought the thing to make a fire, make a fire. Okay? I'm out here doing all this shit. I ain't eating hours. We starving and all this other shit, eating fucking birds and squirrels and shit, bitch. I'm like, come on. You know? And then what happened? She got indignant. She was like, first off, she acted like she contributed to the hut more than she contributed to the hut. And then second off, she just threw it out there that I know what I've done. It's like, damn, chick, what did you do? What did you do? Because I seen you sitting around throwing up the whole damn episode. You know? And none of this is to diminish women's humanity. You know, but when women try to blend their humanity with things that need to be done and are actually getting done, but they haven't contributed to it, that's where I got a fucking problem. Okay? You know, and that is where you're going to have the issues come up. And then, a man is going to have to get nasty. You know, when they want to, and you're not recognizing my humanity. You know, and I'm strong and independent and all this other stuff. And I mean, seriously speaking, it's like the only reason that she was doing all the stuff that she was doing is because she had subscribed to the feminist ideology of, being that strong, independent woman. You know, she was fighting him more on, trying to compete with him than actually like what needed to be done. You know? Like, she was literally trying to compete with him. And I'm like, that's why you can't fuck with a bitch like that. Okay? Because you'll be out there trying to do what you're trying to do. And, if you don't have the situation presented to where you actually are in a position to pull them out of the fire, they're never going to wake up from that, state of mind that feminism has induced in them. They're never going to get out of that shit. You got to literally pull them out of the fucking fire. And this goes in both directions. Like if a woman pulls a man out of the fucking fire and he was never on his feet, like we used to have an argument about that. A dude making 6 figures and then he loses his job and then maybe his woman helps him out or whatever and then he gets back to making 6 figures. At the end, that's a 6-figure man. When she met him, he was a 6-figure man. He was already doing the damn thing. Okay, that's not the problem. The problem is when you got these, well, what about my potential niggas that haven't established anything running around, acting like their potential is the equivalent of the motherfucker who actually made $100,000. And then they can't understand why a woman who's supporting them and they've never demonstrated anything is more legitimate than the woman who's running around, talking about how, she pulled him out the fire, despite the fact that when she met the dude, the motherfucker already had his shit together, right? It just, the economy collapsed or shit that was completely out of his control. He'll get back on his feet. He has the full capability of getting back on his feet because he was already on his feet when you met him. But a lot of times women want to make and tailor their arguments to, create this composite man, where, they kind of switch between the concepts of what type of man he actually was before he fell the fuck off. And then you get the dudes that don't recognize that they're not in the position. Because you can't fuck with a woman with feminist ideology like that. And I'm saying, Cap and I and a couple other brothers have tossed this around a couple times. Yes, there are many black women in the black community that are too far gone, and I would never tell you to get with them, date them, have children by them. I would tell you that they're toxic and you can't fuck with them. And they may just die single and alone, and that's just what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? But I'm saying the black man's condition currently right now is too fucking fragile for you to get knocked off, the horse, because, you fucking with the wrong bitch. You know what I mean? So, I get brothers that send me emails and everything. Oh, man, you telling us to go out here and get with belligerent women? No, the fuck, I'm not telling you to go out here and get with fucking belligerent women. I'm telling you to get with women that will get with your program, but you minimally at least have to have a program that is beneficial to them first, my nigga. First. Okay? And then once you create that foundation, and then the next generation of young girls that grow up in that environment, they'll actually grow up in an environment where they actually see black men building and maintaining the infrastructure of the fucking community, to the collective benefit of black people, including black women and children. And they won't be running around with these belligerent ass fucking mentalities and shit like that. You see this effect directly with the black girls that grow up with a father in the home in the suburbs who were provided for and taken care of, them Annapolis girls, or a lot of them AKA I'm pretty and I got light skin and I got money type of girls, right? Versus the girls in the ghetto that ain't had no fucking father. You see the fucking stark difference in shit. You see the difference in behavior. So fuck any nigga that want to run around and say it ain't about the money and shit, and then want to pull on the extreme examples of what about this bitch in fucking Kazakhstan that's like living on a farm and shit and whatnot. They're cooperating with patriarchy. Really, you trying to compare first world to third world, and that's your fucking argument, nigga? Then why don't you take your ass over there and go live in the fucking third world? If that's your fucking argument. Just dumb shit. Dumb shit. And again, we got a lot of brothers that they just don't want to do shit. And they'll use, they'll use equality and gender neutrality and everything else because they don't want to do shit. They're out there. And women should be rejecting those men just as the men should be rejecting, matriarchal, feminist, black women. They should be rejecting the fuck out of that. Because it is a contract between men and women. It's a social contract between men and women when it comes to fucking patriarchy. You know what I mean? Men gotta live up to their responsibilities and women gotta cooperate with the shit. That's what it is. And that's not to say that you can't have a woman that's a rocket scientist or a doctor or a lawyer or a judge, or a president or anything like that. But when they get so retarded that they start thinking that women are going to go out here at the collective level and start, working on freaking king crab boats and working in coal mines and laying down the asphalt on highways and shit and fixing the New Jersey Turnpike and, all this infrastructural shit. I'm like, bitch, get real. Get real. First off, that's not even conducive to the fucking species, and I've stated that before. To put women in harm's way and all that other stuff. And, like I said, when I saw that woman coming out of Target with 5 children all beneath the age of 10, I'm like, that's a whole decade this chick was out of commission. There's a whole decade. I'm like, how the fuck does that work? How does that work? And the thing was, it was the middle of the fucking day. It was the middle of the day. I got done what I was doing at 12 noon. And I wanted to go grab something to eat, and where I was going to eat was right by the freaking Target. And I was sitting there, waiting for her to cross, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, 1, 2. I was like, damn, all them kids are hers? All those kids are hers? I was like, damn. And she's just shopping and everything else. I'm like, you gotta have a freaking, not only a man who's in the proper financial position with that type of situation, you gotta have a supportive mate in that type of situation. And then all the stuff that has to be done, all the societal stuff on the fragile infrastructure of Western capitalism and all that other shit. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, yo, you all are not out there, in the fucking trenches, on an equal and equivalent basis to men. I'm like, would y'all just stop with that crap? Would you all just stop with that? And we do it too. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that type of, delusion, comes from. To where women start taking credit for shit that clearly they don't do. Clearly they don't do. It's like brothers who I have to check sometimes, they start coming with white boy arguments, as I like to call them. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, bitch, and men do the building. Yeah, that's right. And I'm like, it'd be really awesome, brother. It'd be really awesome if we were actually in the position where we could make that argument. That's why I sit there and I say shit like, I would love to be a white boy and have some white woman snap up at me, about her strong and independence and shit. I would love that shit. I would love to fucking check them on that shit. Like, bitch, the fuck I am? You know, I would love that shit. You know, to just, I mean, just straight up check them. Like, all right, you want to play games? All right, brothers, shut it down. Turn off the lights. Close shop. You know, I mean, I would love that. I would love that. But black men are not in the position, you know, with that shit. You know, we say, you know, well, we're going on strike, and black women go, nigga, so? I mean, that's the problem with not being fucking dependent. When somebody is not dependent on you, they are not required to respect you. They are not required to pay you homage, you know, and give you, you know, praises and all this acknowledgement and shit. They're not required to do that shit. They don't have to, and I like how Letitia put it a long time ago. They do not have to negotiate the terms of their survival with you. It's the same as freaking, you know, how white supremacy is with black men and shit, right? You know, white men don't have to respect anything that fucking black men say, right? Because we're dependent on their system. They're not dependent on us. You know, we can demand, we can bitch, we can cry, we can moan, we can march, we can do all that other shit. They're still in the position of power. You know, nigga, you're fired. Okay, you know, now you're gone. Oh, I'll sue. And I'm like, yeah, good luck in the 8 months that you'll be unemployed while you're filing suit. You know, you'll sue with what money? You know, because lawyers cost money. Unless you go out there and you find a lawyer that takes some sort of pro bono or some shit like that. I mean, you're fucked. You know, and you know, a lot of people, they like to sit there and, you know, try to blur the lines between the intersectionality of race and gender and say that, you know, the struggles are exactly the same thing. They're not the fucking same thing. And I pointed this shit out with you know, white women becoming, you know, the new victims and shit. I'm like, how I had to tell Tim Wise. You know what I mean? Don't put white women in the same fucking category as, you know, the black race. You know what I mean? Because white women are directly attached and are beneficiaries of the white man's, you know, power and dominance. You know? But, you know, in terms of, you know, the structure, and it's real slick, you know, when it's how it's done, you know, because, you know, the gut reflex is to want to make everything equal across the board, right? You say racism is wrong and whites and blacks should be equal. Then you go, and in order to be consistent, you say, and gender inequality is wrong and men and women should be equal. But what does it ignore? It ignores the fact that men and women are actually different, and men and women actually play different roles in society. That isn't just defined by some arbitrary, you know, nebulous concept that is like a part of some greater institution. People are socialized that way. Then you get the sociologists and the psychologists and everybody else who wants to jump up and say the socialization is wrong and shit. Then you get into those fucking arguments. But like, you know, the video that was circulating it's still circulating on the internet. Did y'all see the video where they had the woman trying to beat up the man, and then they had the man beating up the woman, and everybody came to the woman's aid, but when the woman was beating up the man, nobody flinched. Everybody looked, people laughed, people pointed. You know, it's not equal. It's just not. You know, and it's not to the benefit of any group to try to operate like that. You know, all because of concepts and ideas that come from educated white women who are, you know, pontificating and coming up with these ideas and concepts while sitting in an air-conditioned, you know, university classroom built by white men. You know, I'm like, this shit is retarded. Shit is fucking retarded. You know, just sit up there with the you know, microphones that, you know, were invented by white men and the freaking the podium, that was carved by a white guy, and with the lighting that was put up by a white guy, and the freaking whole fucking building and the auditorium and all the chairs that were bolted to the ground by a fucking white guy, and then sit up there and say, you know what our problem is, ladies? Patriarchy. But never hits them that whole fucking building is fucking patriarchy. It never fucking hits them. If women wanted to do, if men were so evil and patriarchy was so evil and women wanted to go out there and they wanted to do their own thing, I'd have nothing to say. That's not the problem. There isn't. It's not an issue about preventing women from doing whatever the hell they want to do. The issue is women are still they're screaming equality. They're screaming they want their own agency. But yet they still want men to build, maintain, and provide everything that they're already accustomed to underneath patriarchy. And whether it's white women in the infrastructure that's already there, or the black males in the black community that need to establish that. In both of those situations, I'm like, none of that's going to be established nor maintained if it's not on men's terms. It's entirely too much work. It's entirely too much work. Sit there and go out and put your blood, sweat, and tears in something, and then just hand over the keys, to a woman who thinks that her humanity needs to be fucking recognized. Like, this ain't gonna happen. That will not happen. And I never knew before coming to the internet that that's what women truly wanted. I had to piss a whole bunch of women off in order for them to fucking, actually come out and admit the shit. You had to, get them, well, please explain your ideas and how's this going to work and whatnot. And then we started hearing all that divine earth mother principles and the original woman and the black woman is God and the wombiverse and you wouldn't be here. We're life givers and all this intrinsic shit that had absolutely nothing to do with men actually being dependent on women, right? I mean, if men had to breastfeed women, their whole lives in order to stay alive, then hey, that's the perfect example for women to have whatever matriarchy that they fucking want. You dare disrespect me? No breast milk for you tonight. No. Motherfucker on the ground going through withdrawal because he doesn't have the life-giving nectar of a woman's bosom. That would be the perfect example to have a fucking matriarchy. You know what I mean? But to have one off of, the idea, the concept that you're going to have a bunch of brainwashed, sissified men who are going to be strong enough to go out there and protect you and defend you and build and maintain, but then when they come into your, humble abode, they just grovel. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know what women are thinking when they think that. I'm like, it won't happen. And because there's been no long-standing structure in the black community, African American community specifically, the women who want to go and pull on ancient African stories and fabricate and make it, they can do that. They can do that and shame brothers with that. Because everybody has this concept like, damn, our blackness has really been undermined and put down and everything, and she's talking that pro-black shit, so damn, maybe that is really what we need to be on and blah 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 blah. But I'm saying, walk through the fine fucking details of this shit. That shit is a smoke screen like a motherfucker. At the end of the day, it's going to be you in the trenches in 90-degree heat, building this, maintaining that, and this, that, and the third, and then, when you walk into the house, covered in mud and dirt and shit like that, your woman's going to be sitting there talking about, did you finish my project? I'm like, whoa, like... this is why Cap has always been a big proponent of motherfuckers get your shit together first. Brothers, get your shit together first. Because a lot of brothers out here, their shit's so raggedy and not together to where they don't really know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it feels like to go out there and bust their ass off and then have somebody just disrespect them like that. Somebody who's dependent on what they just established. They don't know what that fucking feels like. And how intolerant, they're going to be, to that type of situation. You know, they also don't know what fake support is. You know, they shouldn't be looking for support because support can be fake. They need to be looking for cooperation. But in order to understand and know what cooperation is, you actually have to have a program and agenda and everything set up. All she has to do is just simply get on board, right? You got the right type of seats. You know, she's demanded a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, damn, I really want this chick to come with me. Okay, let me make it comfortable as possible for her in order for her to acquiesce her power and get on board my ship and get along with my program. You know, and actually, you know, you do all that and then still not have a woman, you know, get with your program, despite all of the, and I support you, and black men are kings, and you are the original man, you know, all that shit. Yeah, she was talking all that good shit just a second ago, you know. But you know, as soon as you know, you actually present her with a situation where now she's got to be dependent on you, you know, now all of a sudden she don't want to cooperate with the shit. And I'm saying that's where we are. You know, that's where Cap was as a fucking young man, because him having his shit together was not the standard at the time of him having his shit together in the environment in which he was in when he had his shit together. You know, and the fucking idea of in black women's heads, because the black community is so non-patriarchal and fucked up, the idea of being dependent on a black man strikes fear in the hearts of fucking black women. You know, and I don't know what brothers don't understand about that, but again, it's probably because a lot of brothers are not in the position because they've been running around with all this intrinsic, I don't need to have my shit together, you know, mentality. Hold on one second. The I don't need to have my shit together mentality has essentially created a situation where brothers are incapable of recognizing whether a woman is actually truly cooperating with them or not. You know, and, you know, I've already discussed the man stroking. I've already discussed the, you know, black women, you know, recognizing that, you know, many black men are not in a position to be dependent upon. But yet they know that black men have, in, you know, I don't know, a complex, you will. I don't know how else to describe it. To where we need to feel that we're in control, leaders and everything else, despite not being in the position. Now, I blame that on brothers, you know. Granted, you know, you got all the man stroking and the boys being sissified and everything is intrinsic support and everything else like that. But there becomes a point, especially when you go out here in the world and you are dealing with other men and, you know, you understand how interactions go down. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to dealing with black women, black men think that they can deal with black women in a different way. And I'm like, no, the same way that you got to go out there and you got to deal with other groups and other races of men is the same way that you have to deal with your own women. You have to be in the dominant position, period. You have to be, especially if you're going to make any or present any idea or argument about them actually being able to trust you enough to be dependent upon you. And notice I put the word trust in there. It's not just a matter of, yes, then the whole idea is to get black women to dominate them and make them grovel at our feet. No. The idea is, again, as a black man, right, that's trying to build a black community and black wealth and all that shit, I can't do shit without a black woman, right? Can't do anything. Can't have black wealth without a black woman, no more than a white man can have white supremacy without a white woman and creating white children. You know, but it has been put into the minds of a lot of women that, you know, black men are, you know, the enemy. You know, and I can definitely see where women would think that, and, you know, when they're not looking at the situation appropriately, and, you know, everything that I've laid out about the matriarchy and what the matriarchy produces and where the problems come in and the hypermasculinity and, you know, the agents from outside that are coming in and saying dumb shit, and then the people from inside that is running around saying dumb shit with coping mechanisms, which only fuels the flame of more instability and more problems, right? We see all this. You know, but in order to fix, you know, what's going on, a lot of this rhetoric that's floating around now, like the shit, like the black girl that you just heard with the video that I just posted, right? That shit's got to die, and it's only gonna die if men are the catalyst first. And it's not a matter of going out there and arguing with those women. You don't argue with them. You build the foundations, you create the structure, and there will be women out there that'll be like, the benefits of being with these men, I can see the benefits. They're tangible, they're real. And the women who don't get with it, they just simply won't be chosen. And there'll probably be arguments later down the road and whatnot. But fuck it. I'd rather see a black community, like I said, where you have black men marrying black women, black children, black wealth being created, black infrastructure being created, black men networking with each other, right? Creating group economics and all that other stuff. And then you just got a handful of women, from yesteryear, from the 2014, that are running around bitching about, how these men are, it'll be, you'll see it, and then these men are oppressing these women, and these women need to wake up. They need to wake up, and they need to subscribe to matriarchy. And the woman's sitting there like, wait a minute, I'm good. I got a good husband. He takes care of me. We go on vacation 4 times a year. Our kids go to a decent school, right? We're a part of this black organization over here, and we donate. And next thing you know, we're going to open up this black, thrift mall or whatever. I mean, whatever's going on, they're like doing things. They're making moves, and you got this woman in the background talking about no. You should be free, and we should go back to the way the black community was in the late 90s. No, what are you doing? This is matriarchy, goddammit. You're his slave, and there will be women who are going to talk like that. And the woman's going to be sitting there and, I'm his slave, and I'm benefiting right now. I mean that's the equivalent of a black woman trying to tell a white woman that she's oppressed while being attached to the white man. Just picture that shit. Picture a black woman running over there trying to convince a white woman who's attached to, a prosperous, well-to-do white man who's handling his business. Convince her trying to tell that shit that she's oppressed. Imagine a black woman trying to tell, I'm not even going to run to the extreme of somebody like Paris Hilton or some shit like that. I'm saying just a middle class, upper middle class white woman that's taken care of, daddy's buying her makeup, and I'll go tell her how oppressed she is and shit. Tell her how she should give up all of that because all of that is evil fucking patriarchy. And here's a reality. Here's an ugly reality. A lot of your men that don't want to subscribe to patriarchy are broke, and they don't ever see themselves ever having money like that. And that's why they don't want to. They want to co-sign the women on matriarchy or co-sign them on feminism and equality and everything else because they're not going to be in a position to carry the lion's share of patriarchal responsibilities because of that's the nature of the beast of capitalism. Everybody can't be at the top. And I fully understand why people feel that that's not fair and why they want to tear it down and rip it down and whatnot. I'm not getting into all that. I look at life like there's winners and there's losers, and I'm trying to fight to be a fucking winner. There's people down there that, some of them don't want to fight. And I don't like to say that shit publicly because that's the type of rhetoric that white people will jump up and say and then use that as the be-all, end-all against black people. But I've come across them. I've come across the, money ain't everything, they don't want to excel and go beyond because they don't want that to be the measuring stick because they know where they fall if, they don't, if they just accept where they are. They want to be able to accept where they are and not have it be judged. Okay, and the other women who are going to be against, patriarchy are going to be women who, are not, the most appealing in the looks department. Because patriarchy is set up and predicated on, a concept and an idea where men are choosing women and men are, going to choose women based on, aesthetics and things like that, because they're not looking for, women to bring, 51% to the table. They're looking for, partners, women who are going to cooperate, and yes, women that cater to their libido, right? And I'm saying, it's ironic that women will smack down this idea and say that in and of itself is sexist and that's the problem, and, basing it on a woman's beauty and everything. But then when you get to the conversation about black beauty and how black women are not represented and everything, what are they looking for? They're looking for their beauty to be recognized, right? So I'm like, how can you be looking for that? But then when men focus on beauty, it's a fucking problem. And then they're filing complaints all over the place. And then mad that white women are on a pedestal and they get to be leading roles in movies. And, they're on mad ads and magazine covers, but the black woman's not. And it's real funny. If like sometimes, I've had at least 2 black women I do this to. I fuck with them and shit. They start coming to me with some complaints and shit like that. I just start throwing a whole bunch of equality and bitch ass shit at them because I already know that they're like on some slightly feminist shit. You know what I mean? And they're like, and this is ridiculous. And look at this motherfucker on the cover of a magazine. Akon, he flanked by 2 Latina bitches. And this is some bullshit, right? Because it was like Black Men magazine. They had, you can Google it, Akon, Black Men magazine. He flanked by 2 like light-skinned Latina bitches. This is some bullshit. That's just a travesty, right? And I'll just sit there and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's real fucked up, but at least he's not, sexually objectifying and degrading, black women and having a black woman on the cover in her, scantily clad in her, the same type of bikini and having her all of herself exposed and everything. Yes, those Latino women are sluts and shit like that. And it's so funny watching them hesitate on responding to the shit. It's hilarious watching them fucking just they want to say something. They want to be like, no, but I want to be up there, goddammit. But then it's like, but I'm a feminist, so I can't say that I want to be up there because that goes against my code. It's hilarious. It's hilarious watching that shit unfold. But that's what goes down. Again, want to have your cake and eat it too. On women's terms. I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. Oh yeah, I'll put you up there. I'll put you up there on that magazine. I had one chick with a big ass afro. I have another one with some fucking dreads and shit. What's her name? Marissa Irving, the Jamaican chick. Oh yeah, I have both of y'all. I've got my hands out, squeezing, got a titty in each hand. Oh yeah, I'll put both of y'all chocolate asses up on that motherfucking cover. You know what I mean? I'll have you looking hellified and sexified. But that shit's gonna be on my terms. But see, It's hilarious when they fucking pull that crap, We want to be up there, we don't want to be up there. We want to be up there, we don't want to. I ain't got time to fuck around with that dumb ass shit. So, you have your women who, because, if it's patriarchy and that's what it is, and men have the money and the resources and they're building, and despite the fact that they're building and maintaining, if they're the ones that ultimately do all the picking and the choosing and everything else like that, the women don't want to subscribe to fucking patriarchy because they got to sit around and wait for some man to come along and scoop them up. But my thing is like, whether it's patriarchy or not, you still got to wait for a man to come by and scoop you up, unless you're going to be going out here getting on one knee, asking for a man his hand in marriage. How the fuck is that going to work? I don't know if that's what these women ultimately want. But somehow they mistake the idea that patriarchy in and of itself is what defines what men, which men and what men are attracted to. And I'm like, I kind of get it, but I'm like, that's a stretch and a half. I mean, god damn, like, really? It's patriarchy that makes me like big titties and a fat ass and a small waist and long eyelashes and some full lips and shit. It's patriarchy that makes me want that? Really? Really? God damn, like, that's just,
You know, so if it wasn't for patriarchy, I'd be out here picking, what's the name? Fucking Jan Teal, whatever her name is, from the what's her name? Rochelle Jan Teal, or whatever her name was from the Trayvon Martin case. If it wasn't for patriarchy, you know that's what I want. Fuck out of here. But there's gonna be women who are gonna make that argument. So you gotta pay attention to like what people's motives are when it comes down to, the whole shit. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, this video is way too fucking long. That's my video, SWP out.